My best friend's wife's friend had a crazy story. 3 degrees of separation, but hey, they caught the guy, so I can verify it as true. She went on a Tinder date with some guy who invited her over to his apartment for dinner. For whatever reason, she decided that would be acceptable and safe, given the guy was a total stranger. Guess he was hot. So she goes to his place. He has it all done up romantic, like candles and everything. And he made dinner and poured some wine. Halfway through dinner, she starts to feel ill. When she mentioned to him that her stomach was upset, she got fairly scared because the dude insisted she stayed longer and had more wine. After he persisted and kept trying to get her to eat and drink more, she felt uncomfortable and left. She said he was upset, but not really angry, more disappointed than anything, and he allowed her to go reluctantly. She gets home and vomits a bunch. It's late, so she toughs it out. But she felt sick the next morning too. So she went to the doctor. They pump her stomach and tell her they will run some tests. They figure it's probably just food poisoning, but tell her they will call her if there are any findings worth discussing. A few days later, the doctor calls her. She said he sounded concerned and told her she needs to come in immediately to discuss the test results. She arrived and the police were there. 3 cop cars and multiple officers and forensic trucks as well. Ends up when they pumped her stomach, they found human meat. She had literally been eating people that this guy was feeding to her. Police asked for the address she met him at. Ends up, it was an Airbnb, and the name that was given was entirely false. The phone number she had called him on had also been disconnected and was no longer in use. Eventually, they found the guy. I'm not sure what he was charged with or how much time he served. Just know he was eventually arrested a few months later. I dated a very beautiful 6 feet 3 inches former college basketball player for about a year. After an amazing year of thinking we were on the same page, she revealed that she had been lying to me the entire time about things like kids, willingness to leave the state, and other smaller things. I broke up with her a little while after, as our goals were opposed to each other, and the lying really bothered me. Post-breakup, it was revealed that she had cameras in my bedroom and had taped everything for close to a year, as well as supposedly trackers on my car. She went on a smear campaign on the "Are We Dating the Same Guy?" Facebook pages, accusing me of just about everything, including sexual aggression, bordering on abuse. It was all lies and I could refute every point, but it ruined my dating life for close to a year. I found out that she had done the same thing to her last 2 boyfriends, cameras, air tags, etc. She was also bragging to her friends how she had lied to me the entire time, and now she would ruin my life. She made the mistake of calling one of her friend's kids a mongoloid, and I got this info from that jaded friend. Of course, those Facebook groups basically told me to fuck off, and I had to get Meta involved to take it down. 4 times, and she was never banned. It was brutal. I love this woman, but I wanted different things like a family, and she dragged me through the mud for being an adult. The pinnacle was when she connected with a worker I had fired and contacted my work about me being a sexist, then offering to send in tapes from my bedroom. I have since moved and gone dark on social media. Everything is locked down, and I refuse to let her find an attack vector again. She was the definition of the hot crazy scale. Since then, I have met another beautiful woman who has the same ideals as me, but I almost didn't get a second date because she found my ex's lies about me on those groups. I went out on a date with this woman. We went to a restaurant to have dinner. She seemed a little spacey, a low talker, kind of pretty, but a little disconnected with reality. We have a nice conversation I barely can hear. By the end of the date, usually people do a hug or say, "We should do this again sometime." She walked away, then walked back as if she remembered that's generally common human courtesy to do some kind of goodbye. Kinda weird, I should have ended it there. So I go out with her again. We go to see the movie Annihilation about the scientists who explore an alien landing site. Partway through the movie, she starts freaking out and covering her eyes. This movie isn't even that scary. Afterwards, we go to the movie theater bar where she needs to take time processing all the visuals she just saw. She's still kind of freaking out, but we get to talking. She shows me a reservation she made for the weekend. I look at it, It's not the name she used on her dating profile. And come to think of it, she never mentioned anything of that before. And it was a bit weird. I probably should have ended it there. So I go out with her again. We make plans. I'm going to pick her up at her place, and we're going to get Thai food. I get there. She texts me, "I'm just finishing up my coffee. Come on in." She lives on some off street with no road, one of those alleyway streets with only walking access. She lets me in at the gate. Looking at the apartment in front, which is completely empty, wood floors, figure this is a nice place. I knock on the door. She opens and her giant dog that's like 100 pounds walks over to greet us. Now the dog does nothing wrong, just walks over. She looks at the dog, snaps her fingers, and stares at it. She has this dog under her control. On a dime, oh good boy. Now normally dog owners do shit like that to assert dominance, but this seemed a little more controlling than usual. We tour her place, and by the way, she's not finishing her coffee. She just poured it and I'm itching to get food. "Would you like some coffee?" "No, I want to get Thai food." Anyway, her place is nice. Furnished, sweet kitchen with pots, pans, full knife set and utensils. She's living pretty sweet. She's a psychiatrist who does at-home consultations, so I see pill bottles all over the table. We sit down, and she's sipping this coffee. Maybe 15 to 20 minutes later, her roommate comes from downstairs, who also shares the same first name as me. He's kind of a large gamer dude. He goes to the kitchen, goes back upstairs, and comes down with a black roll. Only 2 people carry these, chefs and assassins. I know what it is immediately, and I start to freak out. It's a set of knives. Remember, the kitchen already had a sweet knife set. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but maybe he's a chef. Nope. He rolls it out and starts sharpening it on a metal stick, looking me in the eye. I'm thinking a chef would use a whetstone if they really gave a shit about their knives. I look to her. She's cool as a cucumber, as if nothing weird is happening. He goes to the kitchen to cut his vegetables. I see him cut onion from the bottom and I'm like, that guy has no clue what he's doing. I gotta get out of here. My hand is on the doorknob at this point. She stands up, goes to the kitchen, and pours herself another cup of coffee and sits down. And she asks, "You sure you don't want a cup?" I look at those meds on the table and think, I don't know what the fuck you're gonna put in that drink, lady. You and your serial killer roommate. And I'm practically shitting my pants for another 20 minutes. We finally go to the Thai restaurant, where 3 seats down from me was a girl I went out with a few months ago, who I was into, but who also totally ghosted me. Blue hair this time around, and she seemed pretty bored on her date. Anyway, she tells me about her divorce, her being new to town, her living situation, how her roommate was a recovering meth addict she met, who she let live in her place while he figured his life out. A lot of the weirdness, she explained, was due to her having synesthesia and ADD, hence getting freaked out by all the colorful images at the movie. And things kind of mellow out, but I can't seem to shake how weird this situation was before. She starts to seem a little more human, but I'm not sure I want to do this, even for the story. I should have ended it there. So I go out with her again, I pick her up, we go to the movie theater. It's one that doesn't let us in if we're 5 minutes late. We go to the bar, she's drinking. I'm like, let's hurry up or they won't let us into the movie. She takes her time. We're 5 minutes late, so we have to wait for the next showing. And at this point, I'm so emotionally guarded, and we're finding that we're not that into each other. We see the movie and grab a bite afterwards, where clearly she also discovers this isn't going anywhere. So she says to me, "So I do this for a living?" Oh, I know what's coming. She's going to psychologically analyze me. And she asks all these personal questions, and she gets to the core of me in like a minute and says some things that just hit home and break me to my core. She's good, and I'm internally just destroyed and a complete mess. She's cool as a cucumber. We go outside, she's trying to get an emotional rise out of me, considering I was very emotionally guarded around her before due to the whole fear of death thing. And it's working. We go back to her place, and I'm a mess. Nothing physical has happened at this point, and I'm debating whether I should try and make a move or see if she wants to do anything. But also, I know it's over, and I watch her with her dog, and she's got full dominance over her dog, and I realize I'm exactly like that dog. And here I am, broken emotionally, under her spell, weak, terrified, and insecure. And I look at the chair behind me, and on it are 2 knives laid out perfectly, on a living room chair. I get the fuck out of there immediately. I walk past their empty apartment up front and think, that's not an empty apartment for rent. That's the staging ground. The whole walk back, I'm thinking how no one will easily find me on this offshoot road. I can't even get to the road fast enough if I needed to. And I was terrified. I was not doing this shit anymore for the story. Later, a friend explained that, more than likely, she was just weird and her roommate was trying to scare me off. If she started to get close to me, and I started putting any disparaging thoughts about her roomie into her head, he might lose that meal ticket, which made the most sense. But man, that one might top them for me. Was talking to a therapist on a dating app, asked her out for a drink and she responded, "Can we do something with more substance?" Unmatched her. A month later, I had deleted and re-downloaded the app. She messages me and asks why I unmatched her. I tell her she didn't seem interested. She tells me she was interested and just wanted to set a specific date and time. I set a date and time for drinks. We go out for drinks. End up back at my place. At some point, she tells me about how a week before her period, she gets super depressed and can't leave her apartment or go to work. Can't even talk to anyone. Says she's seen numerous doctors and no one can diagnose it. We end up making out a bit, no sex, thank God. Hour or two later, she asks me to walk her down to her car. I get my shoes ready and go to grab my keys, which I leave on the counter. Keys aren't there. I'm confused. This is where I always leave my keys. I check the other side of the door. Keys aren't there. I start looking around my apartment. She asks me, "What are you looking for?" I said I can't find my keys. She said, "Did you leave them at the bar?" I said no, I used them to get us inside after all. I start searching my apartment top to bottom and notice she's going through my drawers and looking for the keys too. I notice her purse on the counter. I say, "They aren't in your purse, are they?" She says, "No, you can check." I check her purse and am shocked to find my keys in there. She sees my face and makes a comment like, "Oh, how did those get in there?" or something. I realize this woman is batshit crazy and walk her to her car, intending on never seeing her again. The next day, she messages me talking about how she wants to meet up and go to concerts and dinner and all. I let her off slowly and tell her I think we should be friends. She flips out on me, so I block her number. Never date a therapist. Get a mutual like. Fairly pretty girl, some of her teeth are crooked, but I'm not judging. We talk a little bit, exchange phone numbers, and talk a little more. I've just moved from out of state, I haven't made any friends, and I'm missing my once-a-week trip to the bar for beer and wings, not to mention getting properly tipsy or drunk once a month or so. So we decide to hang out and have a few drinks at her house. No biggie, I've done this before with other people without a problem. I get to set home, and she started without me. She's double fisting, vodka in one hand, Coke in the other to chase it down. We talk a moment, then she says she wants to go outside so she can smoke. No worries, I'd prefer that, so the house doesn't reek of cigarettes. She proceeds to chain a few cigs, then we go back inside. All the while she is consuming vodka, and I am refilling for her while we chat. She continues to drink, and wants to go outside every 20 minutes or so to smoke a cigarette or 3. Just when she's starting to get really drunk, her son wakes up. I didn't even know she had kids. He is autistic, and she asked me to tell him to go back to bed so she can finish her cigarette. I go in and have a chat with him. He's had a bad dream. Mom comes in and puts on a Scooby-Doo movie that he likes a lot. At this point, she is stumbling and slurring most of her words. She has started talking about this guy she's really pissed at because he wasn't interested in pursuing anything beyond friends with benefits. Throughout the whole night, she has boasted about being a plus-size model and the success of her career and how terrible people are about telling her she needs to lose weight. She is adamant that they should all go to hell and that she is absolutely stunning and can have any man in the world she chooses. I've gotten extremely uncomfortable at this point and would like to leave. But she is so fucked up, I would feel irresponsible leaving the child and don't think of simple solutions like calling family services in the moment. I watch Scooby-Doo with Junior while Mom continues to ramble on about her fucked up life, and everyone should love her and be attracted to her, repeatedly asking why people are so rude to her and why no one listens to her. She insists that I listen more than anyone she's met because I'm an Aquarius. No one else will listen to an Aries. She smoked the whole pack of cigarettes by this point and is complaining that she does not have any more. She then proceeds to shuffle through multiple CDs, tossing the ones that are too scratched to play onto the floor and cussing out her TV for not playing them. She breaks two while trying to get them to work. Eventually, she starts to sober up and is asking me to go and buy her more cigarettes. I explain that I don't have any money, an honest response at the time, and tell her that I am sorry and that I will have to leave. I just wanted to make sure she was sober enough to take care of her kid. She asked me to take a gift card and go to a local grocery store to purchase cigarettes, and I let her know, after quickly checking my phone, that they will not be open for another 2 hours and I have to leave to get some rest before I go to work. The next morning, she messages me on Facebook and asks how bad things were. I explained kindly, but let her know things did get a little out of hand. She says, "Oh my God, I suck balls. So many balls," then proceeds to block me on Facebook. That is the last I ever heard of the only model I've ever met in person.